This is Nathan here from Matt Kite. We just got back from testing out some foils this evening and just wanted to run you through something that we were discussing on the boat, and that's board sizes. Now, we've been riding a bunch of different styles behind the boat, and we're going to get a bit boat focused on this episode of Foil Fridays here because we've been getting a lot of questions about what board is right for me, what size is right for me. We're really going to help you break down the two distinct categories. It's easiest separated into a big board versus a small board, and what that means for you and your riding experience behind the boat. So guys, stay tuned and we'll get you dialed in. So behind the boat, a lot of us tend to start out on a larger board. For instance, one of my favorites to put beginners on is the Slingshot Simulator. It's huge, it has a little bit of padding to it. It's a really easy board to get up on, even if you didn't have a foil there, and that's the key, is getting up on the board first, and then letting the second part of your experience behind the boat be actually riding the foil. For a lot of people that really are like kind of comfortable with wake surfing or something like that, or wakeboarding behind the boat, those bigger boards are really going to be helpful to start out foiling, even as large as that simulator. But for most people, when you're looking at buying your first board, you're going to look at something like the Alien Air or the Wakefoiler, or something that's in that like 4.8, 4.10 range with a little bit of volume and width. Those are going to be really helpful because ultimately what you're going to want to do is come up on that board first and then learn how to come up on foil. Those smaller boards in that instance, they make it really difficult to get up on the board. For instance, the Dwarfcraft 3.6 that we've been riding a lot lately, or that style of a board, you hardly have any board to get up on, so you're pretty much immediately up on the wing. So from a beginner standpoint, those small boards are just not going to be the best option for you. They're kind of going to hold you back at the beginning, even if you're an expert at like pretty much everything else behind the boat. Those boards just make it really difficult. We've had some pretty talented guys behind the boat with other sports really struggle with the short boards, and found out that, yeah, if we've got a couple guys on the boat that are going to try foiling for the first time or two, or even after their first few times, they're not kind of getting it, we're going to need to put a different board on the boat for them besides the board that we've been really enjoying. Now, speaking of that style of a board, that Dwarfcraft 3.6 or something similar to that, that is really the best option for riding behind the boat, I think, for someone that's an intermediate to an advanced rider, especially an advanced rider. Now, that board we really like for two reasons. Number one, it gives this really odd sensation when your feet are like so close to the nose of the board that you're hovering over top of the wave, and it lets you kind of have a little bit better of a view of that riding surface in front of you. And secondly, more importantly, is the shorter the board is, the easier it is to pump. And what we mean by that is, as your nose comes down with the board, you're going to have a shorter period of time with a longer board before that nose hits the water, versus with a shorter board, it takes a little bit longer for that nose to come down and hit the water. So you can actually get larger pump strokes with a shorter board than you can a longer board. That's why you'll see a lot of people, even in the surf, riding excessively short boards. And a lot of the people that are really dialing in, riding behind the boat, riding some pretty short options. Some other really benefits to that board: size. It's really nice on a boat, no matter how big it is, to have a smaller setup. Foil's so cumbersome by itself, so it's nice to have something that's a little bit shorter, a little easier to store. The 3.6 Dwarfcraft fits in most racks. For 2019, they've got a micro, so that will definitely fit in any of the racks that you've got if you're looking to get that board out of the way. And yeah, we've really been liking those shorter options for pumping, for cruising around. It just makes for such a different experience riding behind the boat. Guys, if you've got any questions regarding board length, size, what the best option is for you, now, this is kind of a broad topic. It's just to start the discussion. It's really hard to get like pointed between all the different options, but generally speaking, those two will really help. Now, if you're looking at getting into foiling, like we mentioned before, that Wakefoiler or an Alien Air or something along those lines, Liquid Force Galaxy, there's a bunch of different options in that like upper 4-foot range that are really going to be helpful for you, and they're not going to hold you back until you get to a certain point. we've got a few customers that are doing some pretty incredible stuff behind the boat and riding some of those entry-level style boards, even the simulator. And you know, another bonus of those boards, just for you guys that are in like some wave type areas for surfing, like actual paddle surfing in, a lot of those options you can actually surf too. So the simulator, the Alien Air, there are guys paddling into waves on those boards. So if you're looking kind of for a all sort of purpose board, those could be a really good option. Now guys, if you've got any more questions, feel free to give us a shout at the shop. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Click the like button, click the subscribe button, and then additionally, if you're looking for more information, we've pointed you to this throughout every video. We try to just make sure that you're being reminded that we have this Foilboard Knowledge Center. Click that eye icon in the top right hand corner of your screen. That'll direct you to that location, and you can see a ton of information regarding foil. But ultimately, if you got more like pointed questions or anything, feel free to give us a shout, and we'd love to walk you through it. Guys, thanks for watching. We'll talk to you soon.